Take a step back. Given these headwinds that you have the sequentially up quarter, potentially a 2 in front of deliveries, that's bullish, and it speaks to our view. The best way to play the green tidal wave is Tesla.
Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So Tesla is set to report their Q2 2021 delivery numbers any moment now. In this video, we're hearing from WeBull analyst Dan Ives sharing his thoughts and predictions around Tesla's Q2 and the second half of 2021. And by the way, for those of you who are unaware, Dan Ives has a $1,000 price target on Tesla stock, suggesting huge upside from where we are today. And we're also going to see one of the most hilarious and unusual moments I've ever witnessed on CNBC relating to Tesla. I almost couldn't believe what I was seeing and hearing when this went down. So with that said, let's get into the video. If you love crypto, stocks, and free stuff, or just want to help out the channel, check out these great offers. BlockFi are launching the world's first Bitcoin rewards credit card. People in the US can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase with no annual fee using the BlockFi Bitcoin rewards credit card. Check out the link in the description. And for a limited time, you can get up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $300 just for opening an account. And if you make an initial deposit of $5 or more, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $2,000. Seriously. Free stocks? Yes, please. And finally, if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for your support, guys. Let's get back to it.
Tesla expected to report its highly anticipated delivery numbers anytime now. Joining us to discuss is Dan Ives, Managing Director at WeBull Securities. We have, like in the old days, whisper numbers. And the whisper numbers now, if you had to say, is it, you've got you think minimum you'd like to see 200, but 200,000, but you think 205 to 210 is possible. Is that about right, Dan?
Yeah, that's exact. I think whisper numbers have moved up significantly over the last 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, whisper numbers are about 180, 185, now close to 200K.
So first of all, I'll be very surprised if we don't see at least 200,000 deliveries from Tesla in Q2 2021. Could be plenty above that as well. Really hard to know. Obviously, with the end of quarter push, a few things can go right or a few things can go wrong. But in either case, just to give you guys some context, 1 year ago, Q2 2020, Tesla delivered less than 100,000 vehicles. And yes, there were some temporary shutdowns and supply chain issues affecting that as well. But just think about that for a moment. More than 100% growth year over year in quarterly deliveries. And Tesla now at a run rate of around 800,000 vehicles per year, not including any production from Berlin or Austin, which are both coming online later this year. This is an absolutely insane rate of growth. The second thing that I want to touch on here is the delivery estimates, the whisper numbers, etc. continuing to climb towards the end of the quarter. This has been going on now for years. Every time, Wall Street consensus underestimates where Tesla deliveries will be at quarter after quarter after quarter. As new information comes in, they elevate their estimates. More information comes in, oh shit, they're delivering even more than we thought. Up they go again and again and again. I'm not sure when this is going to end, but so far this seems to be a recurring theme, and I expect it's going to continue for a long time to come. The long and short of it is this: Tesla continues to exceed expectations day after day, week after week, month after month, and quarter after quarter. This is why we see consensus estimates continue to go higher and higher and higher each quarter, because more information comes out, people see some numbers about certain regions, certain deliveries, and go, oh shit, they're delivering more than we thought. Again, better lift our estimates again, and this just keeps on happening.
But I think 205 to 210 is possible, given what we've seen in China in May and June, as well as in Europe. I think it's a pivotal quarter. A lot of headwinds in terms of chip shortage, PR issues from China. But I believe this is the start of what's going to be a very strong second half for Tesla.
A lot of things out of the company's control, the supply issues, the chip issues. It's amazing that it's back-end loaded to that extent, because April was not anywhere near the kind of numbers you're expecting in June. So that's typical of the way things work, though.
Yeah, but let's just call it is. I mean, the month of April was a disaster for Tesla, especially in China. You had those PR issues, safety. You know, we've seen some of those things coming out of Beijing. But ultimately, May and June I think strong months in China, in Europe, and this is also a supply chain issues where I think 10 to 15K deliveries could get pushed from 2Q to 3Q. And that's why right now you could start to see potentially 900,000 units for the year.
Once again, I just want to take this opportunity to remind you guys that I personally have a bear case of Tesla delivering in the full year 2021 almost 940,000 vehicles, and this is the bear case. And yes, this does factor in some production from Berlin and Austin. If things go smoothly, this could be higher. If things don't go smoothly, this could be much lower or zero. In either case, we'll know in just 6 months. And while we're on this, I just want to emphasize how unimportant Tesla's quarterly delivery growth is quarter after quarter. What matters more than this quarter to that quarter, this year to that year, is the overall trend. What we want to see is a consistent, strong ramp in overall production and deliveries. It doesn't really matter if there's a slight delay of a few months here or there. When looking at this over a 10-year time horizon, that's what really matters. We want to see a very smooth, strong ramp getting towards 20 million vehicles by the end of this decade.
Take a step back. Given these headwinds that you have the sequentially up quarter, potentially a 2 in front of deliveries, that's bullish, and it speaks to our view. The best way to play the green tidal wave is Tesla.
Simple statement here from Dan Ives, but it does bear repeating. I completely agree. The best way to play the green tidal wave, no question, is Tesla. They still have a phenomenal amount of growth ahead of them. They have unassailable leads in terms of data for full self-driving. The world's best engineers, the world's best leader. They're executing faster than anyone else. They're developing and evolving stunning manufacturing systems and techniques that nobody else has. They're doing cutting edge material science, building machines that have never existed before, solving problems that have never been solved before. No one is catching up to this company, and it's still early days. I personally would rather bet on the obvious winner who's already in first place than gamble trying to pick who's going to end up in a distant second, third, fourth or 69th place. Because as I said, no one is catching Tesla.
Yeah. Do you think that we can gauge global EV demand from this number too? And so 900 would be a home run for the company and make you very confident about your $1,000 target, or do other things come into play like margin issues and just the instead of top line, maybe bottom line concerns?
Yeah, and I think there's a range of things that they need to prove to the street.
Now, not to nitpick here, I do understand where Dan Ives is coming from here, but if I'm being honest, Tesla doesn't need to prove shit to Wall Street. Wall Street needs to figure out what the fuck Tesla actually is, and then they'll understand everything they need to know. There's nothing left to prove. Tesla's proven it. They've got the technology, the lead, they're scaling production. There is nothing for Tesla to prove. It's just a matter of Wall Street actually understanding what they're looking at when they look at this company we know as Tesla. At this point in time, the vast majority of Wall Street analysts still are completely clueless as to what's going on. And I really mean this. Tesla's going to hold their AI day in a month or two, and guess what Wall Street's going to do? Nothing. They're going to go herp derp. Does anyone understand what that? Do you understand what the? Yeah, no, neither do I. Let's just ignore that. Same thing happened to Battery Invest today. Like I said, I'm not trying to nitpick here, but there's literally nothing for Tesla to prove to Wall Street. Wall Street analysts at this point in time are just too uninformed and unaware to even understand what Tesla is or what actually matters to this company. If the typical Wall Street analyst actually did understand Tesla, they'd be writing research reports on the potential of Tesla's AI, Dojo as a service, their unassailable data lead, the fact that they've removed radar from their hardware stack because they're so confident in their pure vision solution. Yet of course, we don't hear any discussion about this. Nor did we hear any meaningful discussion following Tesla's Battery Invest today, because, as I said, Wall Street analysts in general have no idea what the fuck they're looking at when they look at this company.
I mean, you talk about the tax credits to show the sustainability there. I think there's some noise. But it all comes down to this story is on deliveries. 900,000 this year, bull case. Could they do 1.3 million next year? And then they start to get profitable going into the next year. And China, even though despite all the noise, that's going to be the linchpin. That's 40% of deliveries for Tesla. And I do believe that's a barometer of what we're seeing globally. I think you'll see at Xpeng, Neo, and others, strong deliveries come out of China. And then U.S., which is lagged. Now you're really seeing a lot more initiatives and the whole supply chain being built to start to catch up with Europe and China. That's the key right now for Musk, Tesla, and the overall EV market.
Oh, Dan, I'm loath to ask you any questions that might be construed as negative. I mean, I just don't need it. I was in a good mood. The FUD tweets that I'm going to get for instilling the fear, uncertainty, and doubt by asking a simple question. But
holy shit. One of the best moments I've seen on CNBS, period. It turns out that this host, Joe, doesn't actually live in a complete bubble. When he or his network are responsible for instilling fear, uncertainty and doubt in people by asking leading questions, trying to put a negative spin on something, he's getting absolutely reamed on Twitter. And he full well knows that if he asks a negative question like this, trying to scare people a little bit, it's likely to happen again. You guys well and truly know my thoughts on the fake news, the corrupt media, the incentives behind the scenes, and the fact that the media mantra really rings true: if it bleeds, it leads. The best way to attract eyeballs, to gain attention and make advertising revenue is to scare people, to freak them out and stoke fear, uncertainty and doubt. This is a great moment of self-awareness from Joe here. I've got to give him credit for raising this point, and I also have to remind you guys the change that we've seen, especially on the CNBS panel over the last 12 to 18 months when it comes to Tesla. Almost the entire panel was shitting on the company, spreading lies, misinformation, very negative on the company, very negative on the stock, very negative on Elon Musk. And then finally, after Tesla stock headed to the moon, it's as if they all took a second look and went, hang on a minute, this company, I've noticed the panel has become a lot kinder and a lot more reasonable towards Tesla. Now, they're still not perfect, but I've noticed a very distinct and obvious change in the overall consensus opinion on the CNBS panel. The same thing is happening with some of the folks on Yahoo. In fact, throughout the mainstream finance media. What I really like about this comment from Joe is that it illustrates the fact that there are an army of Tesla fanatics out there fighting FUD. Once again, I want to remind you folks, Tesla doesn't need to waste money on PR. They have an army of fanboys, fangirls and investors out there willing to put out the flames and douse the fires every time a media outlet spreads any fear, uncertainty and doubt about Tesla. The FUD is no longer effective. We saw this recently with the so-called recall debacle. Tesla stock up the next trading day. This is a really positive sign. It appears that the mainstream finance media's ability to scare people, manipulate the price of Tesla stock, etc. is all but a thing of the past.
Are you, and I could get it from both ends on this one if I ask you about Bitcoin. I'll get the Bitcoiners will be mad and the Teslarians are going to be mad at me. Is there concern about the Bitcoin holdings and what that could do to the share price? Is that one of the reasons that it's not closer to your price target?
Yeah, and I think the bears, ultimately, if you look at this year, the reason Tesla's underperformed, a lot of it's self-inflicted in terms of some of the safety issues that we saw in China, and that's such a big market.
Speaking of FUD, Dan Ives, dude, can you get your fucking facts right? Please stop spreading bullshit. There were no safety issues. Tesla recently, the so-called recall thing, a voluntary over-the-air software update to change the way that the autopilot system is engaged, not a safety concern. The FUD said it was a safety issue. It wasn't, so stop saying that. Or maybe Dan's referring to the dumb bitch who was protesting at a bunch of Tesla events claiming that the brakes in the vehicle failed until Tesla came out and said, listen, fuckface, we've got the data, the brakes didn't fail, you fucking idiot, don't lie. Which again, wasn't an actual safety issue. It was a stupid fuckface lying about the company. Tesla had the data to prove that she was full of shit. Yet still, Dan Ives is talking about these so-called safety issues. Dan, get your fucking facts right, dude, please.
But you look at Bitcoin, you know, that U-turn that Musk took on Bitcoin, that's just added to the volatility and the noise. And, you know, is there going to be a write-down on intangibles, 3 to 5 cents potentially, going back to what was a $1 billion plus paper gain if you go back a quarter? That's added to the overhang. And I can tell you from talking to investors, it's just frustration because investors right now, they want to focus on deliveries, EV, profitability, and margins. The sideshow that we've seen in Bitcoin, it's been a distraction. I think it's an overhang on the stock.
I somewhat agree with Dan Ives in that the Bitcoin purchase by Tesla has been somewhat of a distraction, especially in the mainstream finance media, but I really don't think it's having a material impact on Tesla's stock price. There's going to be some impairment from the Bitcoin purchase during this quarter. It's not going to be a big deal. Most people whose brains function will back this out as a one-off item. The main metric to focus on is deliveries. It's not just deliveries, but delivery growth. And it's not just growth quarter over quarter. Look at the trailing 12-month delivery growth. That's the main thing to focus on. Let me know in the comments below, what's your prediction for how many vehicles Tesla will deliver in Q2 2021? I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card, where you can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase. There's a link in the description. You can also earn up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, also linked below. And finally, don't forget your free stocks with WeBull and Stake, also linked in the description. These great offers also help out the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.